it's me, Atom, and today we're going to talk about the story of OR7, the legendary wandering wolf, and learn about wolves in general at the same time. Let's begin. OR7 was born in northeastern Oregon in 2009. He was a part of the famous Imnaha Pack, one of the very first wolf packs to return to Oregon after wolves were reintroduced back into the United States in the 1990s. Like many young wolves, OR7 eventually left his family to find a new territory of his own. This is very normal wolf behavior. It's called dispersal. Wolves don't stay in their birth pack forever. When they're about 2 to 3 years old, they set off to start a family of their own or join a different pack. But OR7 didn't just wander out of his home range, he became quite the legend. Equipped with a GPS collar, OR7 walked over 1,200 miles, crossing rivers, mountains, ranchlands, and the forests, all alone. Imagine walking all the way from Istanbul to Vienna on foot, without Google Maps. That's pretty much what OR7 managed to achieve. In December 2011, he crossed the border into California, becoming the very first wild wolf recorded in the state since 1924. Unfortunately, wolves in the US have been through very hard times. From colonial times onward, wolves were seen as these dangerous, monster-like predators, symbols of the wilderness that needed to be tamed and competitors for game animals and so on. These myths shaped policies for over a century. Keep in mind, in reality, wolf attacks on humans were extremely rare, but of course, fear stuck around. And what made this even worse was government-sponsored extermination. The US government actively encouraged killing wolves. Bounties were paid for every wolf killed. Hunters, trappers, and poisoners wiped out entire wolf populations across almost all of the lower 38 states. And by the year 1930, wolves were almost extinct outside of Alaska. This was one of the most aggressive predator eradication campaigns in the world's history, mind you, which did not help the situation in the slightest. It only made it even worse because it encouraged. What makes this quite an impressive story, as well as why the story matters, is because his arrival wasn't just a cool story, it was a historical conversation moment. Wolves were wiped out in many US states due to hunting, government bounties, and fear-driven eradication. And so, when wolves return, ecosystems change in major ways. They help control deer and elk populations, preventing them from becoming way too much. Their presence can actually improve forests and riverbanks by reducing overgrazing. This is called a trophic cascade, and OR7 symbolizes the return of the natural balance. Now mind you, for OR7, this wasn't necessarily the easiest thing ever. Being a lone wolf is not as cool as Hollywood would like you to believe. It's extremely difficult. OR7 traveled through human-dominated landscapes where a wolf could be hit by a car, could get shot by some angry dickhead, or starve. He avoided ranches, stayed mostly deep in the woods, and rarely approached people. Another reason why I find this pretty impressive is because wolves aren't exactly an easy to miss tiny little creature. Like you know, gray wolves on average are pretty large. Gray wolves are about twice the size of coyotes. They measure up to 6 feet in length, including tail, and about 30 inches in height at the shoulder. So wolves aren't exactly these small, easy to miss creatures, which makes it even more impressive. Now, a fun fact is, wolves are naturally shy around humans. They don't actually want a whole lot to do with us. And yet, OR7 kept going, becoming a symbol of resilience. In 2013, OR7 finally settled in southern Oregon. And then, he wasn't alone. He met a mate, a mysterious uncollared female wolf. And together, they formed the Rogue Pack. For a wolf that wandered over 1,000 miles, finding a partner in the wild is almost like a fairy tale. It's almost like a funny fantasy love story of sorts. It's so cool. They went on to have several litters of pups, officially restoring wolves to Oregon, where they had been missing for many generations.
Unfortunately, OR7 would pass away due to natural causes after a very long wolf life, but his legacy continues to this very day. His pups and grandpups are now spreading across Oregon and California. OR7 became a symbol of wildlife recovery, proof that when humans take a step back and give nature the proper amount of time, nature will go ahead and heal itself. And honestly, he gave people something pretty rare, a real-life adventure story happening in our very lifetime. The story of OR7 isn't just about the cool wolf himself, it's about the second chances for ecosystems, for wildlife, and for our relationship with Mother Nature. So the next time you hear someone say, "Oh, wolves are dangerous, they're monstrous," or something along those lines, just remember OR7, the wolf who crossed the state line and made history for his kind. The absolute horrible eradication of wolves, so it hits me a bit particularly much, mainly because not only because, I love wolves, canines in general are pretty cool, even though my favorites are felines, but also because I'm half Turkish and wolves are sacred to us. Grey wolves, we consider them sacred beings, sacred animals. So, as you can imagine, it particularly gets under my skin. But yeah, that was the story of OR7, alongside information about wolves in general. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again later. Goodbye!